Okay. Thanks for the organizers, and also thank you all for joining with me today for the talk. It's not going to be like a long talk. I will try to finish in about 20 to 30 minutes, depends on how fast I can go with the slides. But the session will be about 1 hour and 30 minutes, about 90 minutes. So I'm more interested in listening from you about your questions. If possible, I can address that. Otherwise, you can email me. I will connect you back with some of those who knows the answer. So once again, well, all of you are interested in doing a PhD abroad. That's why you are here today. So before going to details, I introduce myself again. So those who are not talking, please mute your microphone. Otherwise, it will be disturbing the listeners. I did my bachelor's from University of Calicut, which is in Kerala. Those who are outside Kerala, I'm saying that. And I moved to Calicut National Institute of Technology to do my master's in photonics. Then during that time, I did my internship in Raman Research Institute, which is in Bangalore. Then I got selected for my PhD in Autonomous University of Madrid in Spain. So I did PhD in semiconductor physics. So I finished my PhD in 2015. That was like almost 5 years ago. So this was a Marie Curie fellowship, which is awarded by European Union, which is one of the prestigious fellowship in the world. So I think every year about 5,000 students in their subjects, like including arts, engineering, and medicine and science, they get this fellowship, which is one of the heavily paid fellowship in the world. And you will also get a lot of opportunities. I will explain in the later slides what are the benefits of Marie Curie actions, Marie Curie fellowships. And during that time, I also spent some time in Lithuania, Vilnius University. This is the university where maybe most of you are physicists, so you know Jablonski diagram. So Jablonski was here in this university, well, maybe like around 300 years ago. So I studied in that university as a part of my PhD. And also I spent a couple of months in a solar cell company, which is in Germany, which is called Bioelectric. Then I felt like, okay, I had enough cold weather. So I decided to move to a hot weather. So I moved to Saudi Arabia to do my postdocs, and I'm still there in Saudi Arabia, continuing as a postdoc. So this university, King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, is one of the top university. I think they were #1 in 2017, number of publications in high impact journals and citations. So they're basically in top 100 universities in the world in terms of research impact. So if you like to do a PhD or master's or even postdoc, it's also a good catch. So back to the topic today, I will be quickly covering about how to get a PhD abroad, different scholarships. It will be like attaching. So most of the details I'll detail when you ask questions, and what are the soft skills required, and what are the major part of CV should contain, and also how to write a professional email to get to get a connection with a professor in Europe or in the USA. And most importantly, some tips about online interviews. So that's about the outline of today. And so let's talk about why we want to study in Europe. Because there are world-class, high-impact, and old universities. Like all of them are like, most of them are like old, and definitely they are like very good universities. And definitely a lot of scholarships so that all of us can go there. And in the UK, you may need, definitely you need a language test. So that's a barrier for UK, but other part of Europe, most of the universities do not ask for language test for PhDs, but some universities ask for language test, but it's a simple thing and relatively easy to get compared to, I would say compared to getting admission in India or even the USA. It's relatively easy to get a position in the Europe, and definitely a good living style and a lot of cultural exchange. So you learn new things, you share new things, and if you are not in the UK but in the Europe, then definitely you will be exposed to new languages. So when I was in Spain, I had to learn Spanish. So at some point you will be familiar with world-class languages like Spanish, Italian, or French, German, Dutch. So that's interesting, a challenge, but that's an opportunity as well. And definitely, if you're in Europe, not in the UK, you have one visa. Can you mute or start, please?
Yeah. I think.
So if you are in the Europe and you want to say something, Irshad?
No.
I think I'm audible. I'm clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear.
So if you're in Europe, you don't need a visa to travel around. So definitely UK, you need a visa, but almost 26 countries you can travel even on your motorbike or even or bicycle. So that's a cool experience. And most importantly, it's a very, very woman friendly. So I just noticed that most of the attendees are women. So I'd like to encourage you to go to Europe because it's a very good place for you. And I just want to share some slides about North America. North America is US, Canada, and basically the English speaking countries, including, you can say it's very similar to New Zealand or Australia. Definitely a lot of scholarships available, especially for Indian students. TOEFL, IELTS are mandatory, like in the UK. The good thing about USA is a lot of universities are there, more than like compared to Europe. And you don't have to learn new language, but you can sharpen your English. But you have to pay heavy fee in the US or all of the English-speaking countries, including UK, Australia, New Zealand, and USA, Canada. But in the Europe, the PhD fee are like almost nothing. I think I was paying like €100 per semester, which is around 10,000 rupees per semester, which is cheaper than what you pay at IITs. So in Europe, it's almost free, but in all English-speaking countries, you have to pay heavy fees. If you don't have a scholarship, like if you don't have a good scholarship, then you will have to suffer a bit. And in the USA, you need GRE examination as well but I'm not going to talk about United States of American possibilities, but I'll be more focusing on what we can do in the Europe. Oh, $1 million question. How do we get funding for your study? Definitely, it's the first possibility is apply for scholarships, check internet and apply for scholarships. In Europe, European Council or European Union widely giving money for external students, and USA, Canada giving money to the universities. So basically, you apply for either university or some public funding to get money for your study. If you're planning to go without money, that's gonna be a little bit tough life for you, but I always recommend to get scholarship first and move forward. Yeah. Then, okay, how to know about the scholarships? Just if you don't have an account in these social medias, in scientific network, please do so. You will also get a lot of information about positions. Okay, you muted me as well. So okay, it's okay. You muted everyone, so I was also included. So you please register if you don't have an account in ResearchGate or academia. ResearchGate is like a German-based one. It is mostly US, And if you are interested in jobs in industry, as well as some R&D jobs or some industry collaboration in academia, LinkedIn is a good platform. And this Find a PhD or Nature Jobs or jobs.ac.uk or URAC. So these are some examples where you can find scholarships possible. This is just like 1 out of 100,000. So don't believe that this is only one scholarship, only few scholarship sites, but in internet you can find a lot of scholarships websites or links where you can find money for your study. So the last one, Euraccess, is the one which is official European Union website where you can mainly find the Marie Curie fellowships. So if you are really looking for Marie Curie's fellowship, then Euraccess is the best platform to check for that. Yeah. So again, I'm just listing some important scholarships: Marie Curie, Innovative Training Network fellowships. That was the one which I got. Erasmus Mundus, they give you for masters and including PhDs, and Fulbright foreign students program for the USA. DAD is a German fellowships to study in Germany. I'm just listing only a few, but during the discussion we can talk about more. This is the one I want to tell you more about, because when we get application from India, including students from IITs for PhD position or even for postdoc, so what we find is they are good at research, they know things, they are very good, but they cannot express their skills well. They can't speak properly. Their CVs are not well formulated. Their emails are not professional. So I want to give you some tips in next 20 minutes about those things which you could consider when you apply for a fellowship. So definitely CV is the main thing. And for foreign PhD, you normally write emails to professors or universities. And definitely the level of English also impress the reader, and how you present yourself in online interview or in your CV or in your email. That also has a huge impact on how you are evaluated. And online interview, definitely this is going to be tough because you have to talk to a computer. So it's also, you need to have a little bit training before you really go for online interview. But it's really fun. I'll explain you how we can do that easily. And internships. So if you have internships before applying for positions, it's good to it also boosts your CV, especially. And also, like, if you publish some works during your internship, that's bring you up in the line. And so there's a high chance that you get called for an interview. So I want to stress again, and with those who are just finishing their masters or already finished their masters or even their bachelor students over here, internships are huge plus. And you do an internship the field which you are interested in, and try to do it in premier institutes like CSIR labs or central universities or IITs. And if you can, you can try for international universities as well, especially the university which I am working. They normally give a lot of internships every year, like 3 months internship or 6 months internship. So there are a lot of other universities as well giving a chance for students to do their internships in the university. So try for international universities as well for your internship. That's going to be a huge plus for you. So this is definitely some time. You need time. So you may spend like 1 year or 6 months. Consider this as an investment. This is not money, but this is your time. So time is also precious. You invest your time to get a better future. So I really suggest you do internships before you go for PhD. And also, other than internships, this time you can also train yourself in programming or some online courses, which are most of them are freely available over internet. Um, Learn programming language like C, C++, Python, or those physicists over here may know MATLAB or LabVIEW. These things are very actually these things will boost your applications to a different level. And also try to learn some soft skills like making a good PowerPoint presentation, and maybe you can also try Excel. So when you get some time, you can also spend some time on this, especially making a good presentation is also a good value added point when you do online interview. I'm again saying invest time. That's your money. Invest time. Time is your money, and invest time and make a good CV. That will change your life forever. So talking about CV. So normally a CV contains name, definitely contact details. Then you go education. Then if you have some project or thesis, whatever, that will go here. Then if you have an award, rank, fellowships, go over here. Research experience comes here. And if you have some teaching experience, go over here. You can add industry experience. You can add your presentation in conferences or workshops. If you have journal publications, add here, and references. Normally, these are the main thing you could consider when you make a CV. You don't have to follow the structure. You can rearrange it as you wish. And so I got like a lot of CV for PhD application or master's application. So those applications comes from India. I normally found a couple of simple mistakes, but that will kill their CV. You may not even think about that, but that really irritate the reader and they won't consider your CV anymore. So first simple thing is when you make a file name of CV, you should write your surname CV, because for a certain position we make one folder and put all of your CV in one folder. So if you make like CV1, CV2, CV new, CV latest, whatever, there are many people doing like that. So we don't know whose CV is that. But if you write your name, especially with your surname, second name, then we know that before opening that file, we know that whose CV is that. So that's a very important thing, but people do not normally consider that. And for the international application, you don't have to write your religion or caste, which may require for the local application, but definitely try to avoid these details in your CV. And references. When you add references, normally your professors or supervisors or teachers, so give the proper name, full name, their proper address, if they have phone number and email. Do not just write Professor XXX and IIT Madras. This is not good. So you have to write a complete address for your referees. And normally in most of the CVs, I see objectives as a very tough English words used in these objectives, which is not even required. You don't have to write objectives in an international CV. Just write, as I said, your research experience or teaching experience, whatever. And also, permanent address is not required for the international CV. Just write your communication address. Permanent address does not have any impact on your application. So why I'm saying this is like, you can write permanent address, but try to make your CV good but small. So not make like 6-page CV or 10-page CV. Make it small, but should contain all the relevant information. And definitely if you're married or not, you don't have to write marital status unless it is asked to do so. Some European fellowship ask for the status because you may get extra privilege, especially if you're a woman married, then they may give you extra preference for this. So if the application asks so, please write. And also, definitely nobody care about how many kids you have, and you don't have to write your parents' name and address, their jobs, whatever. This also this will give some negative impact on your CV. And some CVs, they don't write their surname. So if I'm putting my name, I have to write Shafkat Karutedat. So I shouldn't write Shafkat K. So you have to write your full name, even though in your certificate it's not there, but write your proper second name, because that's the internationally recognized way of calling people. And some CVs is very difficult to find important points because there's no highlight. It's just like one whole paragraph. So make it in bullet points. And declaration is definitely not required, and your signature also not required. And in most of the CVs, research interest missing. So you have to write research interest in the beginning. If you're applying for a PhD, just write research interest in the beginning, because that's the first place they can compare your interest and their interest. If that match, then only they go further to read your CV. And also use very standard font like Times New Roman or Arial or Calibri body. Do not use fonts, and also do not use like multiple colors. Always use black and gray. Do not use a blue, red. Just don't make it colorful. It's colorfully sometimes become ugly. And okay, I just give you some brief about, actually these are like workshop lectures. So I just put 2 slides, which normally I will explain for 3 hours. So I just give you only points. So if you have questions, you can also email me later about that, or you can ask questions here if you have time. So that you can also try for, there are free so you can try to do that if you are not confident about your professionalism in your email. And definitely if you're applying for a PhD position outside, you have to write proper salutation like dear doctor and surname. Do not do not write like dear doctor or dear professor, but you have to write dear professor, their name, second name, not first name. And also do not write respected professor. Always use dear professor. That's what I said. Do not over polite, be professional. And do not salute as sir, because that's the normal way of we use in our culture, but do not use that for foreign application. Because people like professional chat, and you're gonna work with them. You're not gonna work for them. You're gonna work with them. So email, if you do not write a proper email, then they will not open your CV. So it's a gateway to your CV. So you have to write who you are and why you are interested in that institute or that particular lab. And most important thing, when we write, especially in the era of social media, we always use short words instead of proper words. So instead of you, like Y or U, people may write just letter U. So write proper, complete spellings and words. And do not use the short version of the words. This is what I said. Never use you instead of Y or U. Am instead of I am. Sometimes some people even write MA instead of my. That's very weird way of speaking to a professional person. And also respect cultural differences. So if you're writing an email to Korean or Japanese professor, you have to use definitely respected professor instead of dear professor. So since today we are talking about Europe, you have to use dear professor. So respect the cultural differences as well. So this I'm saying your email will decide whether your CV should be evaluated or not. So make a professional and proper email when you apply for positions. So some couple of advices: do not spam. So do not write like everyone in that department. So normally if I get an email from a student, I normally discuss with my colleagues. So then they say, oh, okay, I also got the same email. Then another guy says, oh, I also got the same person's email. So if you're applying to one department, write to one person, not to everyone in that department. And do not use a forward mail. If you write one person, then do not just forward the same email to another person, because that's easier to forward the mail even than compose a new email. And if if the person on a holiday, then try to remind them again after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, saying that I contacted you 2 weeks ago and I didn't get any response, blah blah blah. Just say that, just follow up them. So last part of our talk, before we move to discussion, so it may take like 7 minutes or so. Online interview, this is the maybe a little bit new for most of you. So normally when you get an email back from them, when you get an email back from them saying that, okay, we are interested on your CV and would you be available for a short talk on this day, then you start, oh my God, you get panic. And then you think about, oh, am I good to talk with big people that are big scientists or big professors? Am I good enough for that? Maybe I can't speak properly, or my English is not good, or oh, I don't have a Skype account. Oh my God, then you have to make a Skype account so quickly. So how to prepare a slide for online interviews? So these questions comes up very quickly, but so now I'm saying to you, so you know what to do before you get this email. So just be prepared. It's a simple thing. They won't ask you like tough questions. They ask you what you know. They want to know that what you know actually. So I'm saying again, they selected you because they think that you are good. So now that's your chance to show that you are really good. So your live performance, so your CV, your cover letter, your email, all are okay. That's a gateway to this stage. So when you reach the online interview stage, then your live performance matters. And so in general, what the interviewers are looking for, your communication skill, especially how do you explain the things you know, your master thesis or your bachelor thesis. So they will normally ask questions based on what you talk to them, like your master thesis or bachelor thesis. They normally do not ask questions, basic questions like fundamental, what's second law of thermodynamics. They don't ask those kind of questions normally, but very rarely they may ask that questions as well. And also, most importantly, they watch you. You need to turn on your videos and they watch you how pleasant you are in talking. So this is very important. If you're stressed and panic, then they feel like this guy is not confident. So make a confident look and like talk to them like in an easy manner. If you stress, always stress is bad, it's not good. So as I'm saying, it's not a big deal. An online interview, it may be like you have to present like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but that 15 minutes is very crucial. It decides whether you are inside or outside. And normally they ask you to prepare like 10-minute presentation about your project, either master thesis or bachelor thesis. Those who don't have a bachelor thesis or master thesis, they give you some topic and ask you to make a quick presentation about that. Before going for the interview, you think yourself what are the possible questions that may come during the interview. And also, I'm saying again, don't get panic and stressed. Before giving the online interview, present the talk to your colleagues and get their criticism and feedbacks. Ask them to criticize you as much as possible so that you get potential questions during the interviews. And usually the interview will be 30 to 45 minutes, can be 1 hour as well. So before attending the interview, you also read their work, their recent publications, their projects, and ask questions to them. Then you basically, this is what I did for my interviews. They started asking questions to me, then I started, at some point, I just turned the plate around and I asked them questions. So then they are interested. Then we were discussing about their work. Then I didn't get much question during the interview. So you could try, but when you try this, you have to be like very cautious. And definitely, if you ask about their project and their work, then they will be happy to explain you, and they also feel like, okay, this person is very already read about their work, so this guy is very interested in their work, and also they will read you. Okay, if you can do some scientific discussion about their work or your work, then they will evaluate you. Okay, this person is able to do some scientific discussion in a professional way. And also, at the end of interview, they will definitely ask you, do you have any question? Then you can ask about some casual things like how is the living style, what's the university ranking, or even what about the cost of living, or the the city life, or some general things. Just make them like a good connection with you. So I think the last part is they definitely ask when you can join. So don't say that, okay, I can join next month. It's not possible because it takes some time. So you can just say that, okay, basically I can join anytime depending on these bureaucratic procedures, including visa and offer letter, everything, but I am ready to join as early as possible. So say the truth, always say the truth. They may ask why you are interested in our work. Say that, okay, I'm interested in lasers, so that's why, whatever the field you like, and I happen to read a couple of your papers, then that really motivates me. So that's why I'm trying to reach you for this position. So you find some answers for this kind of, these are like, definitely you get these questions, so be ready for this. As I said, they definitely, or mostly they don't ask basic questions. So they normally ask questions what you present in front of them. Most important thing is do not lie. That's very important thing, including do not lie in your CV. If you lie in your CV, it may bite you back. And at the end of the interview, definitely don't forget to thank them and say that I enjoyed the time with you and thank you for that time. So that's this is a way of impressing them and show them that you valued their time and presence. So basically, summarizing my talk, it's already about 35 minutes now. Summarizing, definitely apply during the right time, and definitely spend some time on making your CV. Make sure that you're emailing only one person in a department, otherwise they won't come back to you. Do not forward an email, because that they will find that you are forwarding email, then they will not reply to you again. An important thing is, especially when you write a research proposal or statement of purpose, go through their research go to their website and lab website and read their papers. Shape your email and cover letter accordingly. Definitely your CV and your cover letter or your email show your caliber, how potential you are with your experience and what you learned, what you studied through your projects or your courses. And some internal things, check the ranking and quality of the university. For example, if you're going to USA, be careful, or any English speaking countries, be careful. There are a lot of fake universities in the USA and even in the UK. So before going there, you have to check the quality of the universities. Not all the universities are recognized back in India. So the money they pay, so if they pay $1,000, you may need to pay a lot of money as a tuition fee or course fee. So make sure that it's how much you get after the tax. And most importantly, check with Association of Indian Universities. That's a website. That's an association for recognizing the foreign PhDs and foreign degrees in general. So if you want to come back to India, you need to have a recognition from this association. So you need to send your certificate here. They give you a equivalent certificate. So make sure that your university is in the list. Otherwise, you may not get equivalent certificate when you come back to India. And finally, get your visa and enjoy your flight. So now the session open for discussion, and you can ask questions for some time.
Hello. I think I'm audible. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shafakat, for this wonderful session. And we are moving to the Q&A session right now. I think we are a 75 right now here in Google in Zoom, and we are also being watched by you from YouTube. Around 30 students are there now. The participants can ask questions. It will be good if they raise their hands first before they ask questions, so that we can, if there are multiple questions, we can arrange them in order. Okay. So let me thank Dr. Shafkat again, and we can continue with this question and answer session.
There is a question on the chat box. Can I address that first?
Yeah, you can.
Need to ask. Need to ask about whether my internships at Raman Research Institute helped. Definitely, that was the game changer. Because I spent one year there, and I managed to get like almost 8 papers out during that time, but that was like about 11 years ago. So even that time, there was like a little bit of competition. So I spent almost 6 months of applying. I didn't get any possibility. I got like a couple of interviews in the Switzerland, but I didn't get a chance to get admission there. Then I thought, okay, I stop here and I focus on engineering institutes. And then suddenly I got email from Italy. Okay, you are ready for interview. But in the end, after 6 months, and the next 6 months, I got 8 positions for PhDs. Then I selected one in Spain because I was Marie Curie Fellowship. The second question was the readings I made. I was reading because I was interested in laser spectroscopy. So I did my internships in laser spectroscopy. So I was kind of aware about what's going on in the world and latest trend. Especially when you read papers, try to read latest papers from 2019 or 2020 or 2018. Do not read, well, you can read, but for the application, read papers from very late years, because that's the state of the art. So that will also give you an idea about where the world is. So, but you need to spend some time on looking for the labs and they get their details. It's a little bit time consuming. Sometimes you feel like it's tiring. You don't get any email or get negative emails, but you need to fight. One day the door will open.
Sir, I was also getting an internship at Raman Research Institute with Professor Raji Phillips, sir. But due to the COVID, I cannot attend. It was during this past summer vacation I got the chance, but due to the COVID lockdown, I cannot attend the session, and I'm very regretful now for not going for that session. But the sir told me that it was okay, and I can continue with him whether the COVID lockdown, whether all the issues are over, and I could continue with him. And I'm so much surprised to see that you have also done your internship at Raman Research Institute, and that's why I asked you that whether it was a game changer, your experience at Raman Research Institute. I'm very pleased and very happy. And I also have to say something, that your accent, your English accent is very good. I like your accent.
I want to say something more about that. When I was doing masters, my English was very bad. I intentionally spent like almost 2 years watching English movies and English literature just to change my tongue. So you can change it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sir, I want to know that whether online internships that we are doing these days, will they have a effect on our CVs and all the processes that we will be going through?
You're talking about online internships, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, nowadays everything is online, As today we had our PhD student just defended online, so I attended from my home. She spent like she gave her talk from Saudi Arabia, so it's possible. But definitely offline or in-lab internships are different. You get more experience. It's more about knowledge transfer. So you discuss with your colleagues or your professors, so you get more knowledge. But definitely the world is understanding what's going on now. So everybody know that 2020 is a little bit tougher for everyone. So it's okay. But if you can do a offline interview or in-lab, offline internship or in-lab internship, that's a huge plus. Definitely, if there are two persons, one has online internships, other one has offline, so definitely the offline may get some extra privileges. That's my feeling. Is that a good answer or satisfactory answer?
Actually, I would like to know, have you seen someone recently who has done some online work and have got an acceptance?
We got a couple of applications last year, but it depends on whether you do some theoretical internships or experimental internships or kind of simulations. So normally for experimental, so we don't hire any internships this year because we are like fully experimental lab. So those who are doing some kind of simulation or modeling or even some theoretical computational work, there are still possibilities. But to be honest, I don't know anyone who got hired to do that because it's just like a recent thing. The pandemic is just recent. So the result will come only next year. So, next year, what will be the effect?
Can I expect an email like next year so that I could know what effect it has?
Depend on the person and also depend on the university. Some people, they never reply to you. If they are not interested in your CV or in your email or even in your project, they just don't reply to you. Because if you become a professor after like 20 years, you get 200 email in the morning just about PhD or master thesis opportunities. So if they are not really interested in hiring anyone, they don't normally reply back to you because they can't really reply 200 emails per day. So that's what I'm saying. Whenever you write email, you have to make it like proper, precise, contentful. Otherwise, they won't read it. Make it like 2-3 sentences if possible, and send them the message.
Okay, I think we have one have raised hands. Vivek Chandran, please go ahead. Vivek Chandran.
Good evening. I'm currently a master's student doing physics. So I'm doing my master's super capacitors actually in thesis. Doing this, but I would like to in my institute the basic more based on the material centers. If you want to go for a theoretical or other than subjective,
Vivek, sorry, I cannot hear you properly. It's some acoustic issues are there. Can you text in the chat box so that I can read it?
Yes,
So before that, I go to next question. There's Varun. Should I first send an email to professors regarding my interest in the topic, or should I first apply for a PhD position according to the institute procedures? So it depend on USA or Europe. In the Europe, normally you write to professors first. Normally professors have money. So they get project, they get grant, they get money in normally. So you write to them and they can hire. So, but in the USA, you have to go through university procedure. So when in the Europe, you get admission, you get interviewed by the same professors, you apply to the professor's email ID. Once you are hired, the professors will tell you the university that, okay, I am hiring this student, please do the administrative procedure. In the USA, it's the reverse way around. You need to contact the professors as well as the university. You have to do both together because when you apply for the university, you have to write, okay, I have contacted this professor, he is willing to take care of me. So in Europe, it's very straightforward. There is less bureaucracy in Europe.
Sir, I have another question.
Yes, please.
Actually, I attended one webinar from Princeton.
Azim, your voice is gone. Your voice is gone. So
Is it back?
yeah, now it's okay.
I think Mohammed Rasnas, who has raised his hand, can we take it now, Shafkat? Mohammed Rasnas.
Yeah, there are a couple of questions in the chat box. So I finish that first and come back. Okay, just give me one minute, 2 minutes. So there is let me. There is a Pranav George. How can we know a foreign university is recognized in India? This is what I said. You check Association of Indian Universities website, and also in general, every year, the university, I think University Commission in Paris, something like that, they publish a free book, a big PDF book. Every year they update. If your university is in that list, normally the Association of Indian Universities check in that list and approve. That's the list. So you have to check that book. Normally, almost all universities are there. But especially when you go to US or English speaking countries, because I'm saying again, this English speaking countries, because in these countries, education is a big business. So there can be some cheating, but most of the case you're okay. But if you're going to USA, be careful about not the well-known. Like if you go to MIT or Harvard or Princeton, it's fine. But there are some other universities which you never know the name, but maybe they know about the place. So make sure that it's recognized properly. Oh yeah, there is a thing. Especially again, talking about English country, especially from UK, if you apply for a PhD in Oxford, they definitely say, okay, we are happy to hire you, but we don't have money. Then you feel like, oh, okay, I'm good, I go to Oxford, but I don't have money. So this I am again saying English speaking countries, they need your money, including the Oxford or even the USA. So normally if you don't get a scholarship, do not go their country because it's very expensive. I think it's per year, it's about 30-40 lakhs fee you have to pay plus your living expenses. So if you don't have a scholarship, it's going to be tough. You cannot even pay the money by doing some part-time job. So for funding, there are a lot of funding agencies in India or even abroad, but it's very competitive. So to get an easy position, always contact the professor. If the professor really like your CV and your background, then he can make money for you. So he can write a grant and just then get some money for you. Then he can hire you. This is what happened to me in my case. Even though I got a Marie Curie fellowship, but the Marie Curie fellowship start only in September. I got the offer in February. Then I said, I can't wait till September because I got some other offer. Maybe they can change their mind later. So maybe they send an email in July, say that, okay, we have some technical issues, so we cannot hire you anymore. So I want to make sure that I get a job. So I told them I got another job as well. So I need a proper confirmation from you. Then they hire me. They get some money for 5 months, some local project. Then they hire me in April. Then they gave me a national fellowship for 5 months. Then they promoted me as a Marie Curie fellow. So you need to make sure if they really want to hire you, they find money for you. This is my message. Okay, Mohammed Rais, please go ahead.
Sir,
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, it's me, Mohammed Rasnaf, sir. I got the answer. You have just mentioned the answer. The question was that whether first we should apply for the scholarship or first we should know the status of whether the professor will hire us. What is the procedure? First, we need to mail them.
So there are a lot
Okay.
of, I got your question, and I'm happy that you are sitting in the lab.
Sir, I'm working in MRF Kottayam. I have graduated my MSc
You're
Physics
working.
from
Very
as
good.
a technical
So
officer.
for your question, so you see, I introduced a couple of websites like your access or find a PhD. There are a lot of what do you say,
Similar websites.
openings coming. Yeah. So they normally have a money for your expenses or your housing and your tuition fee.
Okay.
But those already published advertisement is very hard because everybody knows that it's published. So there are a lot of application will go there. So competition will be relatively tough. Try to apply for those because you have guaranteed scholarship, or approach professor directly in the case of Europe, not UK, but rest of the Europe. If they're really interested in your proposal or CV, cover letter, email, if they really like you, they will hire you. So that's what your soft skill is very important. Your way of talking to them, your way of writing to them. Before writing to anyone, study them well. What they are doing, what's their goal, what's their like research output, everything. Then when you write, come match with that your skills. You can say, okay, you are doing this. This is a very interesting project. I think I can add this to that project. That will be like an extra addition. So always link with their status and suggest something new.
And one more thing, sir, when you were telling about yourself, I was thinking that I didn't have any internship like that. You have done in one institute, was there?
Raman Research Institute, yeah.
Raman Research Institute, yeah. I just only have the project work that we used to do in BSc and MSc Physics.
Yeah, it's fine. It depends. It depends on if you study in a national level institute, you get chance. If you're working in like very university affiliated colleges, it's very unlikely to get those chances. It's okay, but you need to fight. You need to fight and get it done. It's now you are working in a company, so that also value a lot. Now you have professional experience, so that will value a lot. So I guess you are working in a rubber industry or something like that.
Yes, sure, sir. Yeah, MRF.
Yeah.
Okay. So one more thing, why did you select chosen Spain? You mentioned that you have got many European countries, hired many European countries,
including I got one from USA.
Italy.
Yeah.
But then why did you choose Spain, sir?
It's a Marie Curie fellowship. This is what I said.
Oh.
It was well. First of all, it's like heavily paid fellowship. Second thing is it's like you are Marie Curie fellow forever.
Fine.
So you get a lot of benefits. You get some membership in Marie Curie Fellow Association. So you have like some privilege all the time.
So what was the procedure? First you have contacted your professor. You mentioned that professor.
So if you want, for that, it's for PhD, it's very relatively easy. So you just write to professor with your cover letter, email, and CV, and so you just check the your access website. I showed you in one of slide.
LinkedIn.
No. Your access website. This is mainly mainly for Marie Curie fellows. There are some other fellowships also there, but mainly for Marie Curie fellowship. Yeah. So we have to move on. So we already 1 hour. So we have some more time. No problem. You're welcome. Oh yeah, there are a couple of questions over here from Ganga. Is our grade or CGPA considered selection criteria? Definitely yes. People think that it's, but if you do not have a higher grade, like mine, I was not like very bright student in my class. So then you need to compensate that with something else. So I compensated my bad performance in exams, publishing 8 papers during my master thesis. So you need to compensate. You need to show that you are good. So if you do not have a good CGPA, make sure that you have something, you are good at something else. And also, even if you're good at CGPA, it's not always guaranteed that you get the position, especially if you're going for PhD research position. They always care about your research output rather than your academic output, even though that considered as a good academic CGPA. Normally it's a university criteria than a professor criteria. I got one position in Max Planck when I was applying for PhD. This called, I think the scholarship name is IMPR scholarship. But I got the scholarship, everything approved. But when the university asked for the mark sheet, they need 80% mark. I got 79.9. So I was like, boom, it's gone. Just for like 0.1% less. So I didn't get the scholarship. So some universities put some criteria for mark. So how much considers a good CGPA depending on the place? I think 80 is a reasonable, or 80% is a reasonable GPA. So you can consider that as like 3.2 or whatever out of 4, or 8 out of 5, 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Hello, sir. This is Azim Khan, sir. Sorry, I got disconnected.
Okay.
I was actually asking, in America, there is an institute, QCB, Quantum at Princeton, and they conducted one webinar, and they said that they do not want MSc students. Rather, a PhD can be attained only after bachelor's. So, is there any other institute that is doing such?
I'm not very much familiar about American system, but what I know that they don't consider, most of the case, they won't consider Indian masters as masters. So you have to do NMS there before starting your PhD. So that's why it takes like 5 to 6 years in USA, but I'm not sure about whether it's true or not, but I know that many of my friends did masters before they're starting their PhD, even though they finished their MSc from India. Back in the Europe, they don't, if you have masters, then they consider it as a master's. That's fine. If you don't have a master, then you have to do masters in Europe.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No worries.
Shafakat, we have more questions in the chat box. You can, I think you have missed some. Umasi,
yeah.
Umasi is she is asking.
Yes. Let me. I think I missed something.
Yeah.
There is a Sanjana of some sites regarding current PhD position. Check Nature Jobs and your access. They almost show everything. So Nature Jobs, I already showed in one of my slides. So it is. Okay, that is from Julie Jacob. Is prior research experience at premier institution an absolute must before reaching out to professor? Not really, but it's a huge plus for your CV and your chances. So, well, in my case, I did an internship and I spent 1 year in Bangalore. Just want to make sure that I can do research, because you step into PhD, then you realize that, okay, this is not for me. Then you cannot escape that faster. But if you do internship, then you realize that, okay, I cannot enjoy research. Then you can can go to something else. But if you see like, okay, I can do research during your internship, then you feel like, okay, you're confident to do that. So my advice is always go for an internship, at least for 3 months, and check your taste. And
sir, will writing a review paper or research paper give some plus points?
Yes, definitely. Yes, a research paper definitely gives more plus point than a review paper, research paper is something real science you did, but review paper is also good enough. Yeah, having papers before applying for PhD is definitely a huge plus. But in good journals, okay, that's also provided. So good journal, not like very low, not familiar papers. So make it in like decent international Western or American journals, then it has a huge plus. Even some conferences.
Another thing that how do we cite these in our CV, the research paper that we write?
How do you
cite them?
You want to write your research paper you wrote, right?
Yes, sir. I want to mention that I have one.
So you can write normally in academic CV, at the end of your CV before the reference people, you write publications, a title, then write title of your publications, authors, and your position in the author list, and also with journal. That's it. You can, Azim, you can check for some CVs in Google, some science CV or science PhD CV. You get some idea. It's always, most of the solutions are there in the Google. Just need to explore.
We just yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, I think one Sridevi is going to ask some question, or she is appearing in between. Is it for asking question, Sridevi? No. Okay. Fine.
There is a question from Adil Shah. Can you please talk about DAD, MCSA, MSCSA, ITN? This is, I think, he's asking for DAD fellowship and Marie Curie fellowship. So DAD fellowships are very famous in India, even though that's less famous in the world, but it's more famous in India than Marie Curie. And also competitive as well. So it's only for Germany. So if you want to do a PhD or master's in Germany, apply for that. And also in some cases, they also give you 6-month training for German language. That's also a huge plus. You can learn another language. Is money is about, you get 1,000 euros per month plus some health benefit like hospital or whatever. And for the Marie Curie, it's money is huge, like 3,000 euros, something around 2.5 lakh per month, plus travel allowance, and you can do research visit to many places. Marie Curie PhD project is always called Marie Curie Innovative Training Network project. Normally, a group of professors get money for the project, then the professors will hire you for the project. So European Union give money to the group of professors, then they take care of the hiring. So European Union will not interfere in hiring you for PhD. For postdoc, it's different. For PhD, professors will hire you. Then professors say, okay, I hired this student, and they report to European Union. So it's relatively easy to get then a Marie Curie postdoc. But most of the project will be available on your Access website, or you just apply whenever it comes to you. Daily, almost hundreds of PhD openings are there in that website, just because it contains all the field, including from anthropology to rocket science. So everything available over there. Just keep searching for your interested field.
Sir, do you
Hello,
have
sir.
you come across some resource that contains all the combined internship and scholarship?
Again, your voice is breaking, Mr. Azim.
Have a compiled list of all scholarships and internships that can offer?
Can anyone translate him? Because still I can't understand what you are saying.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Sri Rao, and hello.
Yeah, Sri Rav.
Yeah, currently I'm just looking for PhD in adiabatic demagnetization and also in cryogenics.
Yes.
Okay, so do you know the better institutes where I can pursue my PhD on that?
Oh, that's a tough question because since I'm not from the field, I can't say like a specific country for that. But in the Europe, this German or German-speaking countries like Austria or even Netherlands, they may have a lot of cryogenics things because most of the vacuum companies or cryogenic companies are from this German part from the Europe. So Switzerland, Austria, Netherlands, or Germany, they may have good research labs as well because most of these cryogenic companies situated in that region. So I'm just giving a wild guess. So I'm sorry that I can't give you a proper answer for this.
All right, sir.
No problem.
Thank you.
No issues.
One Hari.
Am I audible? Sir, am I audible? I had a various issue last time.
Kind of you're audible, but we'll see.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir, my question is about that if I am doing in project, also there is an issue with me. I entered my mail in the chat box, sir.
Oh, no, I didn't get you. Can you text here? Just put in the chat
Sir,
box.
I texted it. It's in the chat box, sir.
We have already some questions you have missed. I think one Hari has asked, so I had attended a webinar, conducted a webinar, your access, and he is asking, so, as a fellow, how did you get the Marie Curie Fellowship? Did you find that question? I think it's asked by Hari. I think you have missed it.
Maybe he sent to you or it's for everyone?
No, it's everyone. It's for everyone.
And let me find it, Hari. Yeah, Hari, yeah, there's a lengthy message. I was mentioned that they would give a list of projects on the website and we should apply for the projects for PhD and not mentioned where should contact the professor. Yeah, this is simple. So if you go to your Access website, you get a list of projects. When you click each project, they will say, normally they say ESR, early stage researcher 1 to normally to 14 or 15. So each project contains 15 students. And so if you click on the relevant topic of each project in a big project, so in a big project, there'll be like branches of sub branches. So you click on that and then there will be like a contact person in there. Then mail to that professor or person. Normally it's a professor, but can be like a hiring manager as well. The second question is a personal one. How I managed to get, that was an interesting question. Talking about my stories, when I applied for this fellowship, I was not even aware about there is something called Marie Curie Fellowship exists in the world. 12 years ago or 11 years ago, there was no talk like this introducing Marie Curie Fellowship and not even aware about such things are existing in the world. So I happened to see one advertisement on the internet and I applied as a normal thing. Then the professor contacted me back, okay, we have a project which starts next year. We have money, but we can hire only next year. Then okay, I said, okay, fine. Then he interviewed me, then he hired me. Then the same time I got like 6, 7 other positions as well. Then I told him that, okay, I can't wait this long because things can change in time. So can you give me a temporary position before actual Marie Curie start? Then he gave me 5 months contract with a normal fellowship. Then he hired me as a Marie Curie fellow. So it's always contact your professors. Definitely, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's challenging. There are many people applying for that. All the world is fighting for that, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. But you need to spend your time, mind, and your all effort for that. and invest more time on that. This is what I want to say. Time, invest time and work hard, and also check all the possible websites and all the possible labs and see what they're doing.
Shafqat, can you please tell me how many questions more we can take?
I think we can give you like 15 more minutes.
Okay, okay.
Depending.
There's one question from Smida B. She's asking about the age. Is there any age limit? Will they look for younger students like that? Okay, you can find it out there. So, is there any preference according to the age, or do they look for passed out students of the current year?
Well, if you're talking about like too much gap, like 10 years gap, it's not good. For men, it's not good. So they normally look for those students who passed out or fresh or passed out in like 2 to 3 years, or we need to show that the gap between the passed out time and the current time, you did some kind of research or some kind of professional work which matches the current job. For women who got married, who had to spend some time on family, bringing up kids, so they can write, okay, I had a 3-year gap because I had to take care of my baby. So you can really write that in the CV, and that can be considered as an excuse, and you may even get some extra privilege that you're coming back to research even though you had a like lot of tough time in the back. So it's okay to write something like that. It's a recent trend. It was not there before, but now I see in CVs women are writing like that. It's okay to write that, but not like 10 years, but a couple of years are okay.
One Azim Khan is again asking, is there any compiled list of scholarships? Is there any website?
I don't have any, because it changes time to time. So I had one like from 5 years ago, but it's not updated anymore. So basically you can just search in the Google, you find almost everything. So I'm giving my email ID here in the chat box. So you can reach me out here to my Gmail if you have some questions regarding things. I try to reach you back as early as possible, but yeah.
I think there are no more questions, and also is there? Yeah, one new question has. Yeah, it's so our time has come to an end. We would like to conclude here.
Can I get a minute, Krishan?
Yeah.
I want to thank you all for listening to me, and I also enjoyed talking to you. And feel free to contact me if you want to reach me out. And I really enjoyed the night today, and I wish you all the success and work hard and be the next generation of India.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Shafakat, again for this wonderful session and question answers. You have given very good answers to all questions. So it was a very useful and very nice time to be with you. And for everyone out there, I'm on behalf of Uniphy Physics Mentors. I thank you all for participating this session, and those who have asked questions, and I'm thanking all of them. And so this by this I end this session. Thank you all. Okay, so you can leave right now. We are ending this session. For any queries, further queries, you can contact Dr. Shafakat on his email, and also you can reach at info@unify.me, which is the email ID for the institute.